giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live. We are streaming live on YouTube, and of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! That's the type of bomb that the Eagles dropped on the Cowboys yesterday. Coming up, Dallas gets destroyed in Philly. We're going to look at the good, the very little that there was, the bad, and the ugly from yesterday's game. Also, Dak gave us an update on his health, so we'll take a look at that in the roundup. And is this, or was this, embarrassing enough for Jerry Jones to kind of change his mind a little bit on Mike McCarthy? Because I think his mind was made up. Although if it was, maybe they already go with the contract and whatnot. But you guys know how I feel. I felt like, hey, man, they're all in on this Mike McCarthy thing. But 41-7. Yeah. You've gotten blown out by your division rivals, that is the Philadelphia Eagles, who have been to 2 Super Bowls and won one in the last 7-8 years, whatever it's been. 77-13 over the last 2 matchups in the second half of the season. I just wonder, is that going to be enough for Jerry to say, we can't do that. We can't do that. But we'll see. They asked Stephen Jones the other day, and Stephen was like, let's let the season play out and whatnot. So maybe they aren't sold. I don't know, man. This whole thing is a bit of a mess, and yesterday was the biggest mess. It reminded me of 44-6. If you guys remember 44-6. Usually you say a score like that, if you're a Cowboy fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. 2008, the Cowboys had a chance to get into the playoffs. They'd go to Philly and get absolutely embarrassed, 44-6. And then the infamous Tony Romo, if this is the worst thing that happens to me, I've led a good life. They hated Tony ever since. They hated Tony. Well, I can say they hated Tony, but he's not a leader in that whole thing. But this kind of reminded me of that, the way this kind of spiraled out of control. But you could argue even worse, because this team was going up against not one, but 2 backup quarterbacks, and those boys went out there and put a shellacking on you, dog. Embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. And to top it off, before the game, Jerry's walking out, and you got Eagle fans saying, "Yes, Jerry, we love you. Continue to do the things you're doing. We love you in Philly." And, Jerry's, he's not a bashful guy. He's like, yeah, I know you do. Is he embarrassed? No, I don't think so. I think Jerry loves that type of attention. We know all this about Jerry. 365 days is a soap opera. That's what he wants. But as a Cowboy fan, it's embarrassing, right? It is embarrassing, knowing that your opposing teams want you to continue to go down the path that you've been going down. So we'll see if they'll change it. Let's get to this roundup real quick. And coming out, we'll get into our good, bad, and ugly. And we'll talk to y'all. 351-999-3787 on this. I don't even like to call these the emotional Mondays anymore, because I'm not really that emotionally invested in the sense that it's moving me one way or the other. It doesn't. This season has been lost for quite some time, but we're still going to talk about it.
It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time.
It's time.
It is time for.
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Let me talk to you.
Well, let Dak talk to you. Dak made the trip to Philly. They were booing him and things like that too. I bet they were. They barely beat him. And They talked to Dak Prescott after the game. They asked him about Mike, and he was a good soldier. PC. Hey, man, I love Mike. Yada, yada, yada. I really didn't care about that. What I cared about was, how you feeling? How's the leg? How's the health? And this is what Dak said, quote, gained some strength in it, started to use a little bit. I'm probably a few weeks, maybe a month from running. But he got on the bike, so I'm definitely doing some things, moving more. I believe a few weeks ago, he came out and said, I'll be ready to go for all off-season activities. So once OTAs get here around April, he'll be back in the saddle and everything will be good to go. In regards to QB1, and I think the Cowboys offense would welcome that back, especially given what we've seen over the last month or so. But Dak's health, I wouldn't say, well, I guess you can say it's priority number one, but he'll be fine. This isn't a situation where it's an ACL and he won't be back until midseason or anything like that. There are a couple of those players, but he's one of many top guys on this team that have hit the IR. And we heard from Demo. We haven't heard from Zach since he spoke. We haven't heard from DeMarcus Lawrence, but we know he's done for the season. A couple of these guys, we're not sure if they're returning, but we know Dak will be, and he'll be ready to go for April. So that's good to know. Wish they would have talked to him beforehand, though. Seeing his tune would have changed a little bit after the fact of this 41-7 ass whooping that Philly put on the Cowboys, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what? I was going to wait a little bit, but let's just get right into the good, bad, and ugly, because I want to talk to y'all about a multitude of things coming out of this game that, if you look at the title, a lot of these things were already there. But because the Cowboys were beating up on bad teams, they hit the perfect part of the schedule. I shouldn't say beating up, winning. They weren't beating up on them, but just winning. For whatever reason, there's a sector of Cowboy fans that chose to ignore it. And it wasn't like this was a 12-5 season and we're like, hey, yeah, we're doing well, but be careful with these things. No, these things have been there throughout the season. And they were just highlighted because certain guys may have been out because you played a really good defense, right? And you were on the road against a good team. That usually tends to shine, right? These issues usually tend to shine when the Cowboys go up against quality teams. That just seems to be the thing. I don't know why. But before we get to the bad things, let's get to some of the good things that did happen in this game, which literally only a handful. Rico Dowdle hit the 1,000-yard mark and becomes the first back in Cowboys history to rush for 1,000 yards as an undrafted free agent. A lot of people are probably going to poo-poo it because it's a 17-game season now, extra game, et cetera, et cetera. But, I mean, congratulations to Rico. This is big for a guy who's battled injuries throughout his career, for a guy who really wasn't given much of a chance. And then when he was, he's getting injured. But he was able to fight through all the injuries this season. They asked him about, how are you able to stay healthier this year? Yada, yada, yada. And he talked about his diet and whatnot. I'd imagine being in a contract year and then finally being RB1 played a big factor in Rico out there playing. I'm just saying. But no, shouts out to Rico, man. He improved as the season went on, as well as the run game, the run blocking, etc. But I thought he definitely improved in his game, and heading into free agency, he'll be able to say, hey, 1,000-yard running back, and he likely will not be getting some vet minimum deal. So congratulations to him. Hope he gets his version of the bag. I just don't know that it would or should be here. And we've talked about that a lot, and we'll continue to talk about it as the season ends. Jalen Tolbert, who low-key has probably been your best red zone weapon. I didn't have that in the bingo card. But he gets another touchdown, only 2 receptions, but one of them was a touchdown. That seems to be the theme over the last month and a half. But he has 6. That's 6 touchdowns on the season. That ties CeeDee Lamb with the team lead for all pass catchers. And I know we're definitely sour on the receiving core, as we should, right? Because we've been talking about how this team, especially when Cooks went down and even how they were using Cooks, lacked anything opposite of CeeDee Lamb at the position from an explosive standpoint, from a game-changing standpoint, from a, hey, as a defensive coordinator, we got to pay attention to this guy over here. But in the red zone, Tolbert has been, man, he's been fantastic. And, you know, while he's had his ups and downs between the 20s, dude has some strong-ass hands in that red zone, man. And he snagged another one. Nice catch for the touchdown and get the Cowboys back on the scoreboard and tie it up. But then after that, it was all downhill for the offense. But I thought these two was worthy of standing out. Now, we'll go look at the film. Maybe there was some offensive linemen, defensive linemen, but couldn't have been that many defensive linemen because 41 points. 34, really. Plus, you had Saquon Barkley rushing for like $160 something. So there's that. Now let's talk about the bad. Cooper Rush's lollipop arm, man. The same thing that people praise Rush about, I think, is the same thing that gets him in trouble. Well, he gets the ball out so fast, man. It's amazing. It's great. Yeah, but he don't go through his progressions because of it. He just get the ball out. People be like, yeah, we love that. I promise y'all, if you watch the film, you'll see it so many times like, God dang it, just look the other way. It's a couple times, bro. You got a bigger play. But backup quarterback, not high expectations, except for some who believe this guy's whatever. But backup quarterback, all right, whatever. Just get the ball out. Don't turn it over, right? Those are the things that, hey, don't turn the ball over. Except for when he plays the Eagles. Plays a legitimate defensive coordinator, defensive team that's really good. I don't know what it is. The dude just turns into a pumpkin. Now, not that he was Cinderella anyway or whatever it was, the pumpkin patch, whatever. It's not like he was that beforehand, but the Eagles just really bring out the bad in Cooper Rush every single time because he doesn't go through his progressions. And he doesn't have a good enough arm to be a guy that has one bag or 1-2 in the bag. He played with fire over the last few weeks with these picks, man. But it finally caught up to him, those two terrible interceptions. One on a double slant where, I mean, if he, again, goes to his progression. Jake Ferguson is you just get it to Ferguson, first down. We'll talk about him in a second. And then he had the horrible, throw to Mingo that could have been a touchdown. And Kevontae Turpin was very vocal about the pass game yesterday, which I think he was, coming out frustrated, but I don't really know what I don't know what Turp expected here. But Turp said, man, let me do the Turp voice. Man, I don't know, man. I just feel like, man, at the end of the day, man, the CeeDee Lamb gone. Nah, Rush, I'm just playing Turp. He said, man, I feel like at the end of the day, with CD gone, we weren't really calling no pass plays. We just run the ball and throw and check down. Turp pissed. We just running the ball and we throwing check downs, man. We thought we were going to go out there and show people it ain't all about CD, man. At the end of the day, we wasn't getting no downfield routes being called. We just had to see what we could do, man. When CD's here, it's easy. We just tried to find ways to show people that we could do it in the receiver room since our butter was gone, man. I mean, he's not lying. That it was definitely run the ball, check down, and then just throw a lollipop. Now, they threw the ball downfield, right? Interception to CeeDee Lamb. I'm sorry, interception to Cooks. Bad throw to Mingo. But we know lollipop Cooper Rush, it's tough to get it down there. And for a guy like Turp, look, Turp, you might be too fast. You might be too fast for Cooper Rush to get it to you downfield, big dog. So you got to get the handoffs and the quick slants and the screens and whatnot. But yeah, Turp was pissed. He was not feeling the CeeDee Lamb. I'm sorry, I keep saying CeeDee Lamb because I'm reading it. He's not feeling the game plan in the pass game. But again, I say I don't really know what he's expecting with Cooper Rush. And I know, hey man, all we did was run the ball. I hope they had ran the ball a little bit better and more early on to milk this clock, but it got out of hand. He didn't help with the pick six, and it is what it is. Also, turnovers didn't help either. They had 4 turnovers, 9 total against this team, which is crazy. I think it was nine total. And one of those turnovers was another Ferg fumble. Rush and Ferguson they just don't connect. I don't know what it is. They just don't connect. And I think Sunday was like a bow on Jake's disappointing season with that fumble. He called a stationary dump off, a lot of those this year, and tried to make somebody miss, which he's done a lot of. And boom, gets the ball knocked out and had his second lost fumble of the season. Actually, the 2 lost fumbles were against the Eagles. And, it caused a lot of people to officially abandon Ferguson. And I'm not going to overreact. Just not going to do it. But I can acknowledge that it's a disappointing season for Ferguson, especially knowing the context of such. But I think it's astonishing. I think it's astonishing that we went from, and I say we, I ain't talking about me. A lot of y'all went from we love Ferg, freaky Ferg, he's a dog, we need more Ferg, to he sucks. We need a tight end. I've seen multiple people say, get him off my team. Now look, I get it. Fans are fanatics. It happens, and I'm sure it happens across the league. But boy, if that doesn't describe Cowboy fans, right, to a T, I'm not jumping off the ship of Ferg. Again, I can acknowledge disappointing season, but you have to really dive into, well, what the hell happened? And I did that. And I felt like sometimes, I think sometimes you have to see it. You have to truly see it to understand what's going on with anybody. Because Ferg was coming off a Pro Bowl season last year, 700 something yards. He was top 10 in all categories. And like I always say with tight ends, man, a lot of it is about opportunity. And if you have the skill plus the opportunity, you can be one of the top tight ends in the league. I think he has the skill, just didn't have a lot of the opportunity this year, plus the injuries, right? Ferguson is still a very good tight end in my opinion. But you have to look at the context, man. Under Dak Prescott, when he was there, the 7 games, he averaged about 50 yards per game, 48 yards per game on 7 targets per. He had games of 70 yards, 71 yards, 95 yards, and 49 yards. If he averages these averages, he has an 800-yard campaign. 800 yards is usually top 5, top 6, 7 in the league in tight ends every year. He leads all tight ends in missed tackles forced. Again, he did that last year, or it was top 2. But a lot of it this year is because, damn it, if he doesn't make dudes miss, he's going to get 5 yards per catch. His average depth of target is 4.4 yards. That's almost 2 yards less than last year. That tells you they're not using Ferg down the seams or down the field or beyond the line of scrimmage, really. In fact, if you go look at last year, he had 11 targets. This year, 11 targets between 10 and 20 plus yards. 11 total. He had 27 last year. And then I think the most egregious part of all of how he's been used this season is the red zone. Tight ends are supposed to be red zone weapons. Ferguson was second in the league last year in touchdowns in the red zone at tight ends. He led all tight ends last year in red zone targets. He has 5 this season. 5. So when you really take a look at this whole thing and you're not reacting off of emotion of during the game or what have you, it's very easy to see that you're overreacting if you're on that train of, hey, we got to draft a tight end. We got to get rid of Ferg. We got to da-da-da-da. You got to relax, man. Ferguson is fine. And I'm not even counting the knee and concussion, which were major things, right? just looking at his usage with and without Dak, and even with Dak, right, the average depth of target wasn't the greatest, but it was still a little bit deeper. And you saw last night or yesterday, they tried to take a shot down the seam and they missed. That's a throw that him and Dak have connected with. So I'm not panicking. You guys can panic. You guys can cut them. You guys can do all that if you want. I think next year with Dak Prescott back and hopefully a better offensive mind, but even without a better offensive mind, Ferg will be right back on the 800-yard, 5, 6, 7 touchdown train. Now, he'll need that because he'll be in a contract year, but I'm just talking about next year. I'm not really talking about in the future. Or when I say future, I mean beyond 2025. I think he'll be fine. But there are a lot of people who are off of Jake Ferguson, and I think a lot of it is emotional. A lot of it's frustration. This has been a disappointing season offensively for everybody except maybe Rico Dowdle and CeeDee Lamb, if we're keeping it a bean. Truly. But I think he has the skill to be, again, a top 10 tight end like he was last year, if not more. But it's about the opportunity. You need the skill, you need the opportunity, especially at that position. And I don't believe in McCarthy. Damn sure don't believe in no Cooper Rush. I don't know what it is. He hates Jake Ferguson. I don't know what it is. But this is damn 25 yards per game with Rush. 4 targets. And he's not getting thrown the ball outside of like 2-3 yards. And then he has to make everybody miss to get extra yards. I don't like the usage, man. And you know what? I will try to be balanced and fair a little bit here. Maybe some of it was because earlier in the season, offensive line play was not great. And you needed to, hey, I got to keep a guy in, chip, and release. And even with Cooper Rush, there was a lot of chip, and release with Jake Ferguson. And we know he's not going to go to the progression to get to that release. That's not what happens. Cooper's getting that ball out right now. So I'll run this back once we do our review of the season in position groups and whatnot. We'll run it back, and maybe once emotions have calmed down, I'll definitely want to gauge the temperament of Cowboys Nation on this, because just basing it off of what I've seen on Twitter and whatnot, it's like, wow, the way y'all turned on him was very interesting because everyone was on board with Ferg. He's a dog. He's a beast. He really was like that last year, but we threw all context out the window this year. It can acknowledge disappointing season, no doubt. Can't fumble the ball and things like that. But I mean, that doesn't take away from the fact that this dude was just not long ago, less than a year ago, removed from a Pro Bowl season. And before Dak went down, 70-yard game, 71-yard game, 95-yard game, and 50-yard game. 4 of the 7 games were really productive games for Jake Ferguson in a time where the offense wasn't right. So I just want to provide context for that. They ain't, Professor O. Last one, the ugly. This is just going to be quick. Andrew Wilkes Booth. My man assassinated any chance the Cowboys had of stopping the Eagles' passing offense. Any. Single-handedly. I don't know why that man came back on the team after the film he put out there as a cover guy. He made his tackle, right? I mean, I think it was back-to-back plays. One play might have been the same series. Could be wrong here. One play gives up a pass. We like, man, he can't cover. Next play, he made a tackle. We look over to Jesse. Hey, he can tackle. Next play, he gets burnt again. He can't. It's like, this dude can't cover. Why is he continuing to get? Why not run Mukwamu out there? Somebody else out there. So for now on, if this man is going to be on this team, he is now Andrew Wilkes Booth, because he's going to assassinate any opportunity that the Cowboys have of stopping an opposing passing offense. Any. And that's it for the I mean, you could argue there's more. I just happened to look up here. Ellis said, why do Cowboys continue to bring back Cooper as a backup? I just think it's criminal, because Cooper has had success under Mike McCarthy. And I said this before, if Mike McCarthy returns, expect to see Cooper Rush back. And I don't necessarily think it's a terrible thing. I would love him back as a QB3. Get you a legitimate QB2. But I wouldn't be shocked if he returns at all. Nope. So that's my good, bad, and ugly. I know there could be others for the ugly, but Andrew Booth, man, if I had to guess, I don't think Mike Zimmer really. I mean, he was in Minnesota though, so maybe Zim. I don't know. This guy's not good though, bro. He's not good. All right, let's get to the phone lines. I did see Toxic Tom was first in, and I don't want to keep Toxic Tom holding too long because you called before the show even started. So let's get to our guy, Toxic Tom, with our toxic take of the week. What's up with you, brother?
Oh, good morning, Sky. It's after weekends like that. I mean, I grew up in the 717, and if you've never been in that area of the country or not for long, we are missionary Cowboy fans. We are taking the beating for you all down in corporate AT&T area. I'm not trying to talk shit, but it's different. And if anyone, I highly encourage you to go to at least one of the division rivals because you'll start to see like the real rivalry. Yeah. I've been to a lot of Eagle games.
Yeah.
And one thing I will always give Eagle fans credit for is they don't put up with bullshit. I will give them that. And after just watching that game and just pure disgust and seeing all the reports of Jerry Jones getting heckled by fans and he seems to like it, man, it's so disheartening. Like, it's just you're seeing two different franchises moving at completely opposite ends. One is going up and the other one is just keeps on crashing down. And it's depressing, man. Like, Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, did that loss, it sounds like that loss hit you emotionally. It just didn't really affect me much.
Maybe it's because I grew up, I have a lot of family who's from that area. So whenever the
toxic.
Eagles are in town,
I grew
my
up in
phone lights up
Harrisburg,
like a
my
Christmas
boy.
tree.
I grew up literally in Eagles country. Like 90% of the fans I went to school with, family, are Eagle fans. So you trust me, brother. You preach it to the choir. It's just, I don't know. I just emotionally wasn't attached to this game. The season, the situations, and I just felt like the Eagles were such a better team than you coming
100%.
into this game. It's just, so it feels like you hurting right now, which I get because of the rivalry, but also it's like, brother, please don't let this team hurt you that much at this point in the game, in the season, bro. Please don't let them do that to you.
I guess the word for it is insanely jealous. I am so fucking jealous. Like, I just went to my friend's house when I was a kid. He's got the new PlayStation, and I go back and I still got my busted ass Sega Genesis. And I'm like, fuck, like, what am I doing here? What am I doing with my life? And I just looked at, and like the way, maybe it's just like, you want to see what's wrong with this franchise, and you just see the owner walking out, and Eagle fans are clapping at him and thanking him, and this motherfucker has no fight in him whatsoever, and he just smiles and just takes it. It's just like, man, you are a piece of fucking, you are an absolute sellout, dude. You have no fight, but you want your team to go out there and fight. You motherfucker. It's just, that is where it's at. It's just, and then like seeing just how it all fell apart, and I'm glad that the team is finally starting to lose it, and I'm glad Turpin said these things. I really hope Mike McCarthy doesn't come back. Send Wilbur back to the barn, because I don't want him ever gracing my sidelines ever again. Everything that man said he was going to do, he didn't do. And all he does, he's just a giant cuckold that just gets dog walked publicly. And it's just like there's absolutely no grit, no fight, nothing that is good about this team. Everything this team does is absolutely soft from the top down. And then I look at the Eagles and I see Howie Roseman, and I'm trying to see what that be like, man. Trust
me, I know, dog. They get mad at me when I be saying Howie Roseman, he good. They be like, well, what about this? I feel you, but dog, he been to 2 Super Bowls with 2 different type of teams and 2 different quarterbacks, and he won one with a backup quarterback. I would rather be in their situation, not their team, not their fans, screw them, but just give me that type of general manager with pressure, right? Like, Each
I
year,
agree.
as an Eagle fan, whether it work or it don't work, right? Think about this. They were trying to clown him for signing old boy from the Jets. Guess what? It didn't matter because he said, you know what, it ain't working. We'll put him on the bench. We'll go sign somebody else. We'll put somebody else up in there. We'll continue to keep moving. We're not going to harp on the fact that this didn't work out. Here we go. They're 13-3.
Yeah. And I just, again, I guess the reason why it just, like I said in the past, I know what this team has gotten me through some really rough days. And just to see it now, I mean, I'm going to throw a block party the day Jerry Jones takes his dirt nap. I'm going to be so fucking happy that man is finally gone. And he can go meddle with Jesus Christ or wherever he goes because they're not going to put up with this shit. He's finally not going to be able to hire yes men wherever the fuck he goes.
Be careful, man. I ain't going to be celebrating until I know what's up with his son. Now, I'm not celebrating nobody's death, right? That's the bit much. But what is his son going to do? That's going to be the big decision for me because if he don't turn it over to somebody else, I'm scared. I'm really
hoping it's like the show Succession and the kids actually fight it out. That's what I really hope happens because nothing like a little bit of bickering to make a team better, if you catch my drift. And the last thing I'll say is congratulations to Saquon Barkley, Penn State alumni. I hope he gets the record, and I hope Penn State takes care of business this week. Other than that, everyone have a happy new year except the Jones. You both and your family can get royally fucked. You all have a good day.
There's Toxic Tom with our weekly toxic take. Willie Dre? You very confident in that. I'm not so confident because he is the GM. Jerry's a GM by name and he makes the big giant decision behind backs and things like that. But that man's the one that signs the contracts. Signs the free agents, makes the real trades, does the day in, day out stuff. I'm not so sure I want him sticking around. And if he hires a GM, then he has to completely remove himself from anything football because the job of the GM is to sign players, is to do the extensions, is to make the trades. Let them dudes do that. I'm not so sure, man. Yes, I want Jerry Jones to relinquish power, but I don't want him to relinquish it to Stephen Jones. That makes me nervous. Good morning, B-Bird.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Scott? Can you hear me good, man?
I can hear you. I hear you outside, but we good.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm trying to walk. I'm trying to get some of this Christmas weight off me.
Hey, man, get your steps in, big dog.
Yeah. So one thing, man, the game yesterday could really be looked at as a blessing because the Joneses really operate this front office off this roster off hoping him. They kind of hope this happens and hope that happens, and of course, because they can't get fired, they can do that. Other GMs don't have that. So it's kind of good that these last games are kind of coming down to that. And you need a blowout, and because they really want to bring Mike McCarthy back. But the more it gets blown out, the less that they can do that.
Sure. I mean, I hope this stings a little bit, and they give pause to bringing him back. I don't think it mattered. Honestly, B-Bird, I don't think whether they lost close or won close or whatever, that it should change the fact that he should be gone. But I'm hoping that this kind of stings them to the point where they say, oh, wait a minute, all this, kumbaya that we had after beating the Panthers, the Giants, and Washington at that point is kind of muffled now.
And what you saw yesterday was you have one GM on one side of the field that has to win. The fans not going to allow for it. The media is not going to allow for losing. And so then you got one on the other side that's the polar opposite. That's what the difference in the organizations are.
Sure.
And I was going to ask you a question, man. Since you watched the all 22, I feel like the O-line play early in the season caused us not to be as explosive offensively as we were last year. But you can't really see that just from watching, the regular view. We heard some things about, Guyton and all that kind of stuff. But I was just going to ask your opinion on that. Do you think our O-line play suffered? Because Jerry did come out to kind of admit that
He did.
You know, he kind of got over his skis with the guy. Yeah, and I always felt like, you know, I told you before, I thought Tyron, should have came back. And a lot of people kind of pushed back on that. But I still thought you could have got Guyton.
Tyron wasn't. Tyron's been terrible this year, brother. So I was fine with moving on from Tyron Smith. And honestly, I was fine with moving on from Tyler Biadasz. But I was hoping that they would get a better tackle. And when they did take Tyler Guyton, I mean, you heard me, B-Bird. I said, y'all, Guyton and BB is a Project 2025 situation. This is not 2024. And I'm like, you just have to be able to live with the ups and downs that are going to come with this offensive line with two rookies out there, especially two rookies playing positions they've never played. I never really got up in arms about how the offensive line was playing because I expected it to have issues. Now, did I expect, Zach Martin, once he got hurt, to look absolutely terrible? Did I expect the gauntlet that Terrence and Tyler to go through to be worse than I thought? No, I didn't expect that per se. I thought there'd be some struggles there, but it was worse than I thought. But you're right. Even Mike McCarthy came out and said, hey, our offensive line, because of the things happening up front, we have to, tailor the offense this way, that way. But it got better as the season went on. Your schedule lightened up a bit. The gauntlet was over and things got a little bit better. But I still think he could have did things to mitigate those earlier in the season. I still believe that. And he didn't. Yeah,
so that's it for me, man. I just wanted to call. I just wanted to get your opinion on the offensive line and, how to struggle that. Because I think, actually, you got the reliever tight end in, and that started messing with his numbers. And it's just a lot of different things that kind of go off that, man. But I'm get off the phone. I'll continue to listen to you, brother.
Appreciate you. Y'all not going to like this because a lot of y'all don't like to move off of things and don't like new data and things like that. But Terrence Steele has been arguably your best lineman over the last 4 weeks. I know you guys don't want to hear that, because everyone wants to move on from him. Now, I'm not saying that he's now avoided the conversation. I still think you can have the conversation, but he's flipped the switch over the last, I don't know how many games it is now. I mean, I can go look, but he's now 0 sacks, 2 pressures or whatever it's been. And ever since that gauntlet ended, and really since the Houston game, it's been up. Now, is that enough? A lot, according to y'all, absolutely not. And I hear you, right? Get the $14 million and things like that. But I don't think they're going to look at Terrence as we're going to move on and open up another issue on the offensive line. I'd much rather change the offensive line coach and offensive play caller. And I think you have a right tackle that you can have an offense that gets by with. Now, you can say, well, Sky, the price tag and things like that, that's fair. Go revisit him, say, let's restructure it, whatever. But I don't know that I'm quite ready, especially given how he's bounced back, to just be like, all right, now we have a need at right tackle as well as possibly left tackle. And you say, well, move him to left to right. I said it to you many a times. The struggles he hasn't gotten in college from a technical standpoint, things were at right tackle. They're highlighted on the left side, but now we're going to move him to the right side. Now, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have a year of, okay, he's got to get right. He's got to figure it out. It might be kind of a year, red shirt type year where, he hasn't played right tackle in the season. I'm just saying this musical chairs thing is not good for your offense. It's not good for your offense, man. Get a better offensive line coach up in here. Get a better coordinator. Get a better run game scheme, things like that. And I think your offensive line next year, we'll see what happens with right guard, especially with your quarterback back, get some more weapons and things like that. I think it'll be fine. I think it's one of those situations where the offensive line is not as bad as we think it is in the grand scheme of things. Earlier in the year, it did not play great. That's facts, right? We'll see what happens with Brock Hoffman. Maybe we'll see what happens if they draft a guard. Add to that. But they suffered a lot of injuries this last 6 weeks on the O-line with TJ Bass, Austin Richards, who's back, Chuma in and out, Tyler Guyton in and out, right? And obviously Zach Martin. And so somebody say, hey, what if Zach wants to play? Well, they hold, if I'm not mistaken, an option, right? Like they hold the option to pick up on the 5th day of the league year. He gets XYZ. or they decide not to and he is a free agent. Either way, I think it's time to move on. I think the injuries have caught up to Zach Martin. I believe Los was next. What's good with you, Los?
Yo, good morning, Sky, man. Long time no talk. I'm on vacation. I can finally call in.
Yeah. Enjoy your vacation, man. Don't let these Cowboys ruin your vacation, big dog.
Hey, never about that, man. I got my other teams I can support that actually know how to manage a team. That's a topic for another day, but I'll give you my two beans, Sky, and I'll let you be, man. I'm just ready to move on past this season. I mean, we already knew since the season started, we saw they weren't ready to compete for a chance to be in the Super Bowl. And I hate to say it, Sky, there's nothing promising that the front office is willing to do to improve after this season, especially when they're outright telling you that they're broke before the season even starts because of we only got a cap word and so much pie in the pudding, you know what I'm saying?
That's one of the worst parts of this one, Los. You know, you after 3, 12, and 5 seasons, you can kind of hold off hope that, all right, man, if everybody stay healthy and if they build just a little bit off of what they did last year, at least they were 12 and 5. You're going into an offseason like, man, you're about to be probably 7 and 10. Maybe they win this game, pointless game, which will hurt their draft position. But maybe they win this game, and you know they're not going to spend in free agency. You know they're probably not going to make big moves. And it's just like it's different coming off a 12-5 season than coming off of a season like this where you try to talk yourself into, 12-5, right? What are you talking yourself into? Especially if they bring back Mike McCarthy. Like, if Jerry wants to give the Cowboy fans any false hope, right? It's making a move at head coach. If you run back Mike McCarthy, dog, he cried about people not showing up to camp last year. Okay. We're really going to see what happens in camp this year.
Yeah, and you're right, Scott. And I really think whether Mike comes back or not, this team needs a scheme. And you can see what type of players we would need for a scheme, right? Because most of the time it was either Dak go out there and save us or simple elementary, middle school plays that I can draw up. And you just can't win that way, Sky. And one thing I wish the Cowboys do drive high on and invest on, and I said it completely, you can never have good enough of these players, is interior line. Because you can see with us, I mean, I hate to say it, you can see Zach Martin aging, you can see the weaknesses, the rookie flaws of having a interior line so young. So it's just like you got to invest from the inside out, right? Your interior, your D-line, and then you see your needs from else. But, I mean, it's going to be hard because, I mean, you put yourself in the situation in the beginning of the season to wait to pay for CeeDee Lamb, to wait to pay for Dak, all just because you wanted the headlines. And that's the way the Cowboys work, man. If they can actually take their ass out their brain, you know what I'm saying, they can make better decisions, but simply it's not. We're all about headlines and making that money. And I don't know if you saw, Sky, you should look up, but there's this article called from the Texas Monthly. The front page image is so top tier that you got to see it. And they're just making fun of Jerry Jones of, hey, you won something in life, but it's not the Super Bowl. You just won money again, and you're out here lying to the fans. And it is what it is. Hopefully,
is it Bum Steer 24? Like he's holding up a trophy that says Bum Steer of the Year.
I think so. It's like Jerry Jones going through like an upright.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like
Bum Steer. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, man. So, hey, it is what it is. Like I said, Scott, I'm DC for life. I'm never banning this train, silver or blue. I'd ride or die for my Mavericks, Cowboys, you name it, man. I just hope I can see a Super Bowl in my lifetime, and we'll see from there. Cowboys for life, man. Peace out.
Appreciate you, man. That's the part that really frustrates me, man. But it doesn't matter. I'm going to, go through the off season with you guys, cover it, and hope for the best. But it hits a little different. Especially when they're already teeing up. And you can say, well, Sky, maybe things, maybe they'll swerve you, but they actually teed up 2024 and 2023. Right? 2023 offseason, they teed up what to expect in 24 and really 25. He kind of was talking about 25, and now they're doing the same thing. Like, hey man, this could look just like 24, and it's like how can you even want to put that in the air? Marco from Charlotte. Good morning, sir.
What's up, Scott? How you been, brother?
All right. What you got for me?
Man, I was wondering if we believe Dak Prescott is our quarterback, and
it's not believe.
Y'all guys,
he is.
Yeah, okay. He is our quarterback. Okay.
Where you going?
Okay. Are we okay with? I want our team to take a chance. Trade them draft picks and move up. Get us a Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter. Don't get us just a regular guy. Go get us a guy that can change our team.
I don't think a guy is going to change the team. A rookie is going to change the team per se this year. Maybe at running back, like a Genty could possibly do that. But there's a lot of running backs I think could help. But I've said this many times, and I continue to say it. I think it's a flawed thought process to expect a rookie to be your hump player, especially this year. Sure, I'm with you though. Go get your guy 100%, but please let it be the third aspect of what you do in the offseason. Be aggressive before the draft, in my opinion. If they're not aggressive, then all we're doing is putting a crap ton of pressure on a rookie. And if that rookie doesn't live up to it, all Cowboy fans are going to hate him. And if that rookie doesn't live up to it, that means the offense is probably not where it's at. So then we're going to blame the offense, we're going to blame the coach, we're going to blame the quarterback, and it's just going to be a repeating cycle when in reality they were handcuffed like they've been for majority of the decade.
I'll tell you another thing. I'm not really too upset at Jerry then, because I see they paid a guy. They got a Vanderist. They paid Smith because they thought these guys played good, and then you just bet on guys that wasn't that. We let what my boy Byron Jones, we let him walk when he played good for us. We let him walk. We signed Jalen Smith. We let a lot of guys. We just bet on the wrong guys. Like even again, we paid a Dak Prescott, and you know how I feel about that, but. He's coming off an injury. You just paid him. You just bet the franchise on the guy who's coming off. You didn't know he was going to get hurt.
You bet the franchise on a guy that was coming off an MVP season, not an injury season. He got hurt.
I'm saying, Scott. Now, let's say all that being said,
you said you can't be mad at Jerry Jones because he paid Jalen Smith and LVE. What kind of reasoning is that?
No, what I'm saying is, Scott. He paid the guys that he thought, even me, Jalen Smith, I thought, oh, yeah, we got us a guy. We paid some guys that we thought.
So you can't be mad at him for making wrong decisions? Absolutely you can. You can't just say, oh, well, he did this, so I'm not mad. Well, what are the results, and were there other better options? Why would you continue to bring back a guy in LVE who continually has neck injuries and he was okay? Why would you sign a Jalen Smith with a bionic knee? Why would you not draft a running back or bring in running backs the last 2 years? Why would you not bring in defensive tackles? Why would you wait a whole entire year to get cornerback and receiver help? How can you not put this on the general manager? What are you talking about?
Hey, Scott, I got to say this. Can we say what Cowboys didn't? You can't say Jerry them didn't care about the defensive line when they drafted the Tristan Hill. They drafted all these guys. Marty Smith.
Oh boy, it's 2024. Yeah. Why are you talking about Tristan Hill in 24?
I mean, I'm saying if he was a good player, he'll still be playing for us. That's what I'm saying, Scott. Like you drafted a Marty Smith, he's just not that guy.
Right. You can actually criticize them for that. I don't get what you mean. You're basically saying don't criticize at all. They drafted a person, they signed a person. You don't criticize. You can criticize the decisions that they've made.
Well, Scott, I'm just saying, yeah, you missed on it. You can criticize them for missing, but don't say we can't say Cowboys fans can't say they didn't care. Like we can say Diggs. Do we think Diggs should get back to being that guy? Do we think 26 should get back to being that guy? I mean,
Cowboys fans say they don't care about winning over everything else. That's what most and I don't know how you don't agree with that. When he comes out and says, my job is to get them talking. I like to have a soap opera 365 days a year, and the owner is in cahoots with the general manager because he is the general manager, and his son is his right-hand man. And when you have the money, bottom line money of a franchise organization mixed with the football decisions, that's oil and water. You can't have that.
Well, Scott, I was with you. I'm going to tell you, at the beginning of the year, when I saw the Eagles sign Barkley, I picked them to win the Super Bowl. I don't know why my Cowboys are just looking at Derrick Henry And what they pay Barkley, like 20-something million? Come on, bro. I mean, I understand that they keep on worrying about paying Dak and all them. And sometimes these guys, I think we love our guys a little too much because they wear that blue and you get used to them.
We said that. And I think fans do this too, overvalue some obscure guys. Now, when it comes to the Dak Prescotts and Michael Parsons and Trey Diggs of the world and CD Lambs, no, I don't think you overvalue those. Those are all pro players. You don't overvalue those. They overvalue the Michael Gallups. That's who they overvalue. You could argue Terrence Steele for paying him that contract. You could argue Jalen Smith. We can go down the line of the Lyle Collins, the Ezekiel Elliott's. Well, at the time, I guess he was top of the game, I can't get too. But they overvalue, I think, the middle and bottom part of their roster because they drafted those guys. So we've drafted and we've developed those guys. That's where they fail, in my opinion.
Well, Scott, this is what I was mad at Broadus about, and I know I've been on it for a minute, but I was mad at Broadus. They were talking bad about Micah, and I called into your show. How you talk bad about we don't like him in the locker room? I don't care what they do in the locker room. If he come out to be one of the best players, I want him on my team. I don't want this super nice guy that says all the right things on my team, and just because he's a nice guy and he's kind of good, we okay with him. I don't care how you treat them Dallas Cowboys staff members.
You got to take that.
Is our best player.
You got to take that up with Broadus and them on their show. Call it the
I know you weren't rocking with that. I know you weren't rocking with that.
I mean, listen, man. Michael Parsons is one of the best players in the National Football League. He's about to get the bag. I'm not about to exert energy.
Scott, what I was saying with that draft pick thing is, I want us to get us a guy. I mean, I'm tired of getting us this. We drafting these guys. I mean, the tackle Guyton. Yeah, he's okay. He's gonna probably be okay, but go draft me hey, I'll trade 2 first-round picks for my boy Travis Hunter. If I feel like Travis Hunter's gonna be a guy.
Yeah, he's gonna be a dude.
We don't know what. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna get Diggs back. Is Diggs gonna? This will be a second surgery. Are we getting a real
Diggs injury is rough. Diggs injury is rough for sure. I think cornerback is a position they got to look at. Yeah.
Hey Scott, that's what I was saying. Dallas paid him.
What you saying? You just keep not. Let's get to in closing, bro.
Okay. Well, in closing, Scott, Dallas paid a Diggs guy not knowing he's gonna get hurt. If he get hurt, I can't judge Jerry them for that.
Who?
And I appreciate you, Scott, bro.
I appreciate you, man. Salute. Who the hell was getting mad at? Now maybe you get mad now, and I guess in hindsight, but who was criticizing paying Diggs? I mean, I guess there might have been some people criticizing paying Diggs, but I mean, I'm not getting mad at them paying Diggs because of the ACL injury at practice and what happened this year with his knee. That's not what I'm getting mad at. Yeah, you pay your all-pro players. I have no problem with that. You can't live off that, though. You can't live off of just drafting your guys and then paying your guys. You have to do other things. I don't know how many times we have to keep saying that. But I do think it's very weird to say, well, I can't be mad at Jerry Jones because we drafted Tristan Hill and Mozzie Smith and, well, who'd you say? Byron Jones? What? If you can't get mad at them or criticize them, let me say that, for a lot of their mistakes, then you can't get mad at anybody ever. You can't criticize anyone ever. Just say, oh, well, that's just how the cookie crumbles. No, you're in a business of, you need production. Point blank, period. Because you look, definitely you. If Dak Prescott doesn't produce over the next 2-3 years, you'd be the first one to criticize him. So what why can't you criticize the front office, the people who are responsible for putting out a championship team and having done so in 30 years? $445, you live.
Hey, how are you? First time calling your show. My name is Felony. I'm from the horrible, horrible city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Well, if you're from Philly, you don't want to say it's horrible. That's your hometown.
No, it sucks here.
It's rough, though. It's rough.
Sucks.
It's rough.
And as always, I was there yesterday. Listened to your show for a couple years now. I'm always a little bit nervous to call in. But I'll probably call in a little bit more. And I am an LVE fan, so watch him out.
Let me chill out, man. We got an LVE stand on the phone. What you got for us?
Too much, actually. I like Michael Parsons a lot. But he came off a little bit as a coward yesterday, I think.
Hold on, that's a big one. A coward. Explain.
Well, when he took a shot from Saquon, I don't give a hell. I'm from. Listen, I'm an old school Cowboy fan from the Landry era. My two favorite players are Charlie Waters and Bill Bates, who can barely live a life now because of what he gave up for a star. But they did. Charlie Waters spent a month in the hospital after the NFC Championship game in 1972. He wasn't crying about it. Who hit him? Shut up.
Hold on. I missed this. What happened? You said so. You said Barkley hit Micah and he cried about it or something?
But did you hear Micah Parsons? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to fail. Did you hear Micah Parsons in the locker room yesterday?
No, I didn't. So I missed that.
Okay. He complained that Saquon Barkley gave him a rib shot, and he had to go back and whatever. Yeah, I don't know what he did, but he went back in the locker room and he came back out, and I just think it made him play a little bit.
So he was a coward because he took a shot to the ribs. He had to go to the locker room and get it checked, and he came back out.
If you don't come back and play hard, yeah.
So he's a coward because he took a shot to the ribs, went to the back of the locker room, got checked, came out, and you said he didn't play hard. Okay, I have to go look at that.
That's my opinion.
I didn't notice that.
It's just my opinion. I'm not saying I love the guy. I love him, but he just came up a little soft yesterday. That's all I'm saying. Maybe I used a hard word.
I don't know. I'll go watch. I mean, they gave up 34 points on defense. I don't know who the hell was not playing great yesterday, but you got to be careful with this soft shit. I know. Y'all got to be careful with this soft shit. Y'all be killing me with this because y'all wouldn't call them soft to their face, and you wouldn't be out there. Bro, this soft shit is crazy to me with fans, man. That's crazy. An all-pro player being soft is crazy. But all right, go ahead, bro.
I have stood on the sidelines while there was while there was a game going on. I know how hard they play. Believe me, I know.
Because you stood on the sidelines. All right, bet.
Well, I mean, seeing how hard they play, like the rapid pace of the game. Yeah, I've seen it live and in person. So I mean, I give them all due respect, but I'm just criticizing them. It's okay, right?
Yeah, go ahead. What else you got for us?
All right, cool. I like Turpin a lot. And he had a little funny comment yesterday that you played.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see his teammates coming out and saying to him, hey, what was up with that ball that was right in your hands that you dropped in San Fran? I think we should, I think our teammates should throw each other under the bus in the locker room.
You think they should?
They shouldn't throw each other under the bus in the locker room. When Turpin goes, I mean, listen, Cooper Rush played horrible yesterday, but was he? The game plan sucked. It always does under Mike McCarthy, except for Tampa Bay. And if Mike McCarthy does come back, which I'm not too thrilled about, but if he does, we need a new play caller, and I hope it's out. I hope it's not shoddy.
Ain't happening, brother.
Definitely. You never know,
bro.
I don't hate the Joneses. I don't hate the Joneses like all of your fans in your show.
I can't stand
your show. I love your show, but
hate him to death.
I'm not much of a hater.
Hate him.
Okay.
But let me prepare you. Let me prepare you. If Mike McCarthy comes back, bro, don't get your hopes up for a new play caller. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, listen, I'm just saying I'm hoping. I'm hoping. I'm about to hope. I'm a Cowboys fan.
And I'm helping you out
for years.
Don't get your hopes up in that part. Just saying.
No, I think, to be honest with you, I think this year, it's going to be, I actually think it's going to be a little bit different this offseason. Yeah, we got to sign our own players, and who we sign, I hope we sign Jordan Lewis. I hope he doesn't move on. But I think we're going to, I hope we bring in a couple, I won't say big-time guys because, I still got Brandon Cook in my head. I'm Brandon Carr, that horrible Brandon Carr contract that still sits in my mind. So be careful what you guys wish for.
We got Stephen Jones' burner account on the phone right now. That's straight for the playbook of Stephen Jones. I still got Brandon Carr, horrible contract in my head. Brandon Carr was signed in 2012, if I'm not mistaken, y'all. 2012.
Yeah, I know.
And it wasn't a horrible contract. Brandon Carr had 6 interceptions in 2 seasons. The first 2 seasons of that contract. Yes, he earned that.
Did he earn it?
Yes, and then they changed coordinators, and it didn't fit for him.
Yeah, I know. I hear you. But I don't know. I just think we should. I wasn't really down with that contract. It was an okay contract, but I think we could have did better. But I hear all this like, sign this guy. It's become about who we sign. Let's. I want to. If we sign a free agent outside of the locker room, I want to be a player who's still ascending, not a player who who has done their time in the league. But it is what it is. I'm not going to take your time up. I will call again, but have a happy New Year.
Thanks, man. Happy New Year. Happy holidays to you, and man, be safe in Philly. All jokes aside, I know how to done it.
Hey, this is life here since 1976. I ain't running.
I hear you. I'm just saying, be safe.
Be well. Oh, I know.
That's what I'm saying.
Be well.
Be safe because you ain't got to run nowhere, but it's Philly. Yeah. All right, man. Appreciate you. That was an interesting one right there. Mike is a coward. He's soft. And he still got Brandon Carr's contract in his head. All right, brother. It seemed like they got to you. 913, what's up?
Hello?
Yes, sir. You live.
Is it Sky?
Yes, sir. You are live, 913. Welcome to the show.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Yeah, this is my first time calling.
Hey, man. Welcome in.
Right,
You got a couple first-time callers. You got a couple of them. It's all good.
Yeah.
What's up with you?
Yeah, everyone's been trolling. I just been wanting to talk about why not just bring back Jason Garrett?
Please don't put that in the air, big dog. Please don't put that in the air.
No, let's have a serious talk. Why not bring Jason Garrett back?
Oh, wait, you're serious?
The way we're talking.
No,
yeah, we're serious.
You're joking.
No, I'm serious. Why not bring back Jason Garrett? And maybe we even bring back Kellen Moore.
Well, that one actually is less of a joke, right? Like if they move on from Mike McCarthy, Kellen Moore might actually be a head coach candidate.
Yes.
You can keep going.
What would you think about that?
About Kellen Moore?
Yes, or Jason Garrett.
Oh my! Wow, you're really serious about it. All right.
Yes, I'm serious. Yeah.
All jokes aside, absolutely not.
Mike McCarthy. Just think about Mike McCarthy's situation. Just how bad it is.
No, I wouldn't want Jason Garrett back on this team. Kellen Moore, no, I'm out. I mean, if we're truly going to go on a coaching search, there's just so many other more qualified coaches out there. I'd rather interview and bring in.
Just think of it as the Jones way. That's what I'm trying to say.
If we're going to go the Jones way and do the criteria of a former head coach, et cetera, I'd rather have Mike Vrabel than any of those two dudes. Give me Vrabel and give me a wizard OC type situation. Bring in Robert Saleh or whatever. I'd rather go that route.
I don't know, man. I just don't think they will do it, man.
Vrabel makes more.
Know how they are.
Yeah, but if you're saying think like the Joneses, right? Because that rules out a lot of the offensive guys that I like. So I'm ruling those guys out. So I'm thinking of walk around head coach, disciplined guy, doesn't call plays. I feel like Vrabel would be that type. That's not who I would want, but I'm just thinking like the Joneses.
Okay.
Yeah. I damn sure would rather him over Jason Garrett though.
I'm just going to the lowest point, just how bad it's been for the Cowboys, It's awful, man.
Yeah, it's rough. No doubt about it. It's been rough, man.
No, I really feel like with Jason Garrett, I could be a hot take. It would be better with him over McCarthy, but obviously we wouldn't go far, but
boy, you really putting this in the air. You want to talk about
absolutely.
A swerve. If they run back Jason Garrett, oh my goodness.
I'll agree that we won't, do anything in the playoffs, but I mean, it's gotten to that point, man. It's just real bad.
I'd argue McCarthy's, and I'm not a McCarthy fan. It's been better than Garrett though. It's better. Not even arguing. It's just legitimately real.
I'll agree with you.
So you're downgrading. Yeah.
Okay.
Like you're downgrading. It's a different story if you're like, hey, I'm gonna bring in an offensive coach or a first time coach. You don't know, right? I'm downgrading by bringing in Jason Garrett. That's a fact.
Yeah, man. I love your show, man.
Hey, appreciate it, big dog. And I'm hoping for the best with you. Thanks for the call.
All right, see you, man.
I didn't expect that one. Let's get 214 in the building.
Hey, what's up, Skylar? How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Got one more week of this madness, and then we can start looking towards the offseason. What's up with you?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Shoot, I'm just chilling in Dallas right now, about to go to work, man. And man, I'm tired. I'm tired of Pooper Flush, man. Pooper Flush, bro. That guy, I'm sick of Pooper Flush, bro. I can't even. Like the only reason why
Pooper Flush is crazy.
The only reason why they're playing him is because I feel like Trey Lance can't throw. Because every time we've seen Trey Lance, he either throws the ball way over somebody's head or he throws it to the ground. And I feel he has the attributes to, like, be that guy, but right now he doesn't have the reps, and I feel like his throwing capability let me stop right there. Because our quarterback coach, like, they really need to bring back, like, John Kitna or somebody, because that's when Dak was playing his best. That quarterback coach got Dak playing bad. He got Cooper Rush playing bad, so it might not all be playing calling with Mike McCarthy.
I mean, yes, I love John Kitna, of course, but Dak was, again, MVP last year, and I think in spite of quarterback coach and play caller, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, I would like an upgrade in the staff. I would detach myself from the entire offensive staff. I would bring in a totally new offensive staff. But I know some players don't want that because they want continuity. But just speaking as a fan.
With that MVP race with Dak last year, now did he not get help from Dan Quinn in that defense last year? I'm not gonna lie.
Well,
Mike Zimmer's doing a great
game,
job.
yes, but I'm just talking about individual sides of the ball here, offensively and the quarterback and whatever. I think he had that year, in my opinion, mostly in spite of the quarterback coach and the play caller.
And that is true. And we weren't trying to give Ezekiel Elliott old man touches on the ball. So, so we weren't trying to do that either. And also, Mike, with his play calling, man, like, I hate how Mike McCarthy treats his play calling like he treats his food menus, man. It's all unhealthy, man. Like, I don't like the way he treats his play calling, dude. Like the running schemes, the passing schemes, the curl routes, man. It's all unhealthy, man. And well, at least we got our revenge on Dan Quinn, because Dan Quinn, he screwed us in that playoff game last year when he was playing zone coverage against the Packers when we were playing man.
He just got out. He got out coached so bad in that game. It was bad.
I think he did it on purpose, honestly. I think he did it on purpose. I think he already knew he had that job in Washington, and we were going to be competition. So he didn't want us coming in on our high horse, which he did a great job at that. Because I'm still mad at that Packers game.
I'll say this, bro. I think he might have been distracted for sure. I don't think he knew he had the Washington job, because remember, the Washington job was going to go to Ben Johnson. Dan Quinn Dan Quinn was just sloppy seconds. They wanted Ben, and Ben turned it down.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think he was distracted, though. He was quite literally interviewing for jobs that week, if I remember correctly, like remotely, like the Zoom interviews.
They really need to wait till after the playoffs to, like, start the coaching interview job, because that messes with all the coaches who are in the playoffs, and that really messes up the playoffs in some senses when it comes to, like, distractions, like you just said. And yeah, man. And also the Jones family. I don't know what it is, but we need to take the 4th round picks from the Jones family, because they these last 2 years, bro, they cannot do nothing with these 4th round picks. We paid Trey Lance for nothing. We got Mingo. He ain't catch a ball yet. If he has, then it wasn't nothing important. Man, like, just take the 4th round picks from the Jones family, man. I'm sick of the Jones family with these picks. We traded Amari Cooper for a 5th, and we traded for Jonathan Mingo for a 4th. Is Amari Cooper better than Jonathan Mingo?
I don't know. Let me think about that. Yes.
Exactly. Exactly, my boy. But hey, Scott, that's all I had to talk about, man. You have a good show, bro. You have a good day, my man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you calling. Happy New Year, man.
Yes, sir.
Let me run this back, the Trey Lance thing, because, who was it? Marco called in, wanted me to yell at Brian Broaddus. You have to call in and yell at Brian Broaddus about that. I didn't know he said all that. But one thing I've seen Brian say on Twitter that I just totally disagree with is they're not playing Trey Lance because they want to sign him cheap. next year as a backup quarterback. I just can't see that being a reason. Can't see that being a reason. Because here's the thing. If you did start Trey Lance these 6 games, and let's just say he went 4-4 or what is it now? 3-4 or 4-3? I don't know what it is. He had the same win-loss ratio, whatever. And he put good film out there. Basically, what he's saying is he's playing himself out contractually of being a backup quarterback in Dallas. You know what I say? Good. If he's playing himself so far out of being a backup quarterback, money-wise, you're likely going to get a comp pick for Trey Lance. For a guy who you don't even want to see the light of day, right? You never want that to be the case. You never want that to be the case. I think they're not playing Trey Lance because they know Trey Lance is not that good in regards to quarterback things. He may have the arm talent. He may be able to run around. But when the bullets start flying in real life games, and you got to read defenses, and you got to know pre-post, you got to do a lot of the high IQ things at the position, he just hasn't shown the ability to do that. Now, and then you could argue the accuracy and things like that. I think Trey has to go to some team that's willing to let him go through a full season and just mess up. And maybe mess up a few times and then he'll eventually get it. But I don't think this is a, hey, man, Trey Lance, get out there and show off his skills. He's going to be too much to bring. Nah. Couple of things. Mike didn't want Trey Lance. So if Mike McCarthy returns, like I said, Cooper Rush is probably coming back as your backup quarterback. I just think that's the case. If you get a new head coach, do you know how terrible it would be if you dictate to that coach, especially if he's an offensive coach, that, you have to re-sign this third string backup quarterback or whatever, no matter what you say, because we invested a 4th round pick in him and I don't want to look like a fool. Trey Lance is not playing because I don't think they believe Trey Lance is good enough to play. Now, there's a separate discussion to have. Whether you believe he's good enough or not, you invested a 4th round pick at some point, throw his ass out there and let him prove to you he is not good enough or not. Or is, I should say. That's the other side of the discussion. You are purposefully going to burn the 4th round pick so you don't look silly. And there's people that say, oh, Sky's a 4th round pick. So who cares? I mean, how many times you going to burn these things on Jonathan Mingo and Trey Lance? If I'm burning 4th round picks and stuff like that, do it for the Cookses and the Gilmores and the Robert Quinns and things like that, right? Go back to doing that. Let's stop. Let's stop burning these day 3 picks on Trey Lance, Jonathan Mingo. Both times you had general managers across the league laughing at you, quite literally. John Lynch all but laughed at you on air. Woo! We was blown away. We were blown away by the compensation from the Cowboys, but we wish Trey Lance the best. General managers saying, oh, man, Dallas, a 4th. There was that, I think, Diana Rossini or whoever it was. They put out the anonymous quotes from the pick, and the general manager was like, excuse me, run that back? For that guy? My man's got like 2 catches. Toxic said, he said, look, and this is true, Toxic. They're so scared of being wrong, they will waste resources and not use them to make you look bad. Yeah. Cowboy Mike, what's up?
Man, what's good with you, man?
Not much, big dog. Talking to y'all.
Today, man. Hey, bro. Man, this is my outtake on the game last night. I went into the game just looking to look at some guys to see what we had in some threes and some fours. And I want to get your take off the air. But here's my that was a good opponent. Philly's good this year, Super Bowl contender. I thought our O-line, I gave them about a 7.5. I thought they fought, man.
Yeah, I can't wait to go look at the O-line today.
Yeah, I felt like BB Hoffman was scrapping. I felt like Rico Dowdle is a 2 or 3 running back.
I agree.
Because there was some lanes there last night that he could not get you more than 4, and I felt like it should have been 8. Like a Genty would have got you 15, 20. Some of those lanes he had. Defensively, man, I think DeRon Bland is a slot guy. He needs to go back to the slot. But Cooper Rush, man, I feel like he was in a position to fail. We didn't have a CD Lamb. They were doubling Ferg. We just got to get off of it, man, and just go into the offseason and start evaluating. And hopefully they let McCarthy go, man. But I went into the game. I wasn't expecting us to win. I was expecting us to get whooped.
Now, I thought they would. When I say fight, I mean like literally the score would be, a fight for a little bit.
Man, the early turnover. We spotted them 14. So
we spotted them 7. Right, literally gave them the pick 6. But then it got out of hand.
Dang.
Yeah,
you're right. It was an ugly game, man. But ever since Dak went, now, man, this is where you go back to your girl and say, baby, I'm sorry I said these things. We did.
Brother, that'll do you know the disdain that fans have for that man? That'll never happen. There are fans that will rather lose with him than hope they win with him. Straight up.
Ain't nobody said nothing, man. Dang it, Dak could have hit that. Ain't nobody said nothing. Well, man, that's all I got, man. I'm glad it's draft time. I'm locking in this draft this year, man. I'm trying to take it to the next level. And y'all got to back off my boy, Brian Broaddus, man.
Yeah, he had his neck.
Back off my boy.
Marco had his neck.
He's solid, bro.
Yeah, B's my guy. I don't agree with everything he says. And we have our own, we have our own little Illuminati chat. And we can talk about that. So, yeah, I don't agree with everything B says. But, yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah, hey, if y'all need to catch a B outside, I can be outside. I got y'all back.
All right, my boy.
All right, man. Y'all stay up, man. Cowboy Nation, man. Just take it easy. Take it easy.
It's tough. Peace. It's tough, man. We frustrated. The fan base is pissed. I do want to talk about one of the things there. DeRon Bland in the slot. I wonder if they treat, and I think I said this to y'all before, if they treat DeRon Bland in a way that they were talking about Tyler Smith, right? Where, okay, we can go into this draft and free agency knowing that if we got to put him in the slot, we can. If not, we know he's been a good boundary corner as well, because of the J. Lou situation, right? Like J. Lou, I think he genuinely wants to be in Dallas. I think if they offer him a fair contract, he'll take it. But if another team offers him a better contract, he'll take it, like a significantly better contract. He'll take it. And then that leaves you with dire straits at corner, because now you just really have DeRon Bland and Kalen Carson. And Carson wasn't great when he was out there. Then he went on IR. Diggs likely I think he'll be ready for the season, but maybe he'll be on PUP. So maybe it'll be 4 games, right? So it's another position that Dallas is going to go into this offseason like we are in a sticky situation. Funny you brought up Magic City Marv. We got Magic City Marv right now. We had one more person, but they dipped. So let's close this thing out with Magic City. What's up with you, Marv?
What up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, man? Long time no speak.
Man, I just been listening to you. That coach is horrible, man.
Here we go.
Season been messed up all year because of this dude. Can't coach. Don't know what he's doing. 3rd and 1. He'll throw a bomb.
or interception. You know, the guy's just a dumb coach, man. I'm sick of this dude, man. That dude could have had, I'm going to be honest with y'all, and I told y'all, we started early in the season. He did that Rico Dowdle. He probably planned it. The dude, he probably would have had about 1,600 yards. I'm going to be honest with you. But they wouldn't run him. You remember he was running 5 times. He had 5 yards. How about average like a 5-yard carry on your 5 carries, and they won't run him no more. They did that with him and Dak. Got Dak Prescott throwing 50 times when you should have tried, you know, keep running up the middle when you never hit the edges. The guy just a dumb. Don't use number 9. Number 9 threw a hot case on him too when in the interview. The receiver said, "Man, he thought he was gonna get like 10 catches, 12. No, didn't use him the right way. You know, one of the most dangerous receivers in the NFL, punt returner, and you didn't use them. 81, he had a touchdown bomb, knew the arm, threw it the other way. I'm talking about he beat that corner.
Yeah, Keon Mitchell.
Had him burnt. Yeah, had him burnt. That's what I know. I said, okay, this guy fast and real. Because that guy running 4.3.
Well, he hit him with a double move. It was a double move.
But you could catch up. He couldn't catch up.
You get hit with a double move. It's hard to catch up. If you bite on a double move, usually you burnt.
Yeah, you know, and that big dude was gone. I said, and you can tell he was frustrated. He could never get no punt. So I couldn't get to elevate number 81. None. Number 80, catching the ball. Don't barely play him. You got if you had a good coach, if we had that Ram coach, number 80 and 81, probably had about 600 yards, 700, both of them. This fat boy.
I don't even know if they'd have been on the team. They like a specific type.
Yeah, but if they fast and they could get, I'm just saying.
They like yak guys and route running guys, but you know, I would like to see with Mingo in that situation. Not Mingo, but Florida in that situation.
Yeah, Florida showed you last week they could get open, but this guy, you know, man, I'm just frustrated with this coach. And then I ain't gonna lie. On defense, I told everybody, if they put that 25 out there, team, this guy's the worst cornerback in the NFL. And then you traded for that sorry dude, man. I remember him in college. I didn't like him. Now, like you say, I watch football a lot and college ball. I be watching corners, bro. You know what I'm saying? I even knew that in college that dude was horrible. But everybody like, oh, we got Booth. I said, oh, my God. I told my friend, I said, this dude is a sorry corner, man.
Ain't nobody celebrating no damn Booth, Marv. Stop that.
No, man, a lot of people thought this dude was horrible. But I'm just saying, put that dude out there. He showed you the first time y'all put him out there. He just torch. The guy's horrible. Man, Jimmy Johnson would have been cut this sorry dude. He wouldn't even made the team, bro. But that's the Cowboys. We bring sorry players on our team. You put them out there. And who put them out there? Was it our defensive back coach or was the defensive coordinator?
To be fair,
who put that dude out there?
You're right. Look, Mark, I think he was so bad earlier in the year, I would never brought him back. But to be fair, Mark, we down to like cornerback 7. They almost ain't have a damn choice but to throw him out there at one position, whether it was inside, outside. They had to throw somebody out there. But once he got burnt, I'd have sat his ass right back up in that booth.
Man, I'd have put 25 out there. I mean,
24. Mukwamo.
24 out
I would do
there
the same thing.
With number 2 and what you call and bump and run, because the problem with the Cowboys, and I had a man over the top, because you can let 26 go 1-on-1 and number 2 go 1-on-1.
So you'd have ran too high? If you'd have ran too high?
Yeah. And then I'd have one dude over the top just for number 6.
And
I was at 25.
And Marv,
you bump and run him.
And Marv, Barkley would have had 250 yards on you.
No, he would.
Yeah, he
if
would.
If I had a safety over the top, so what you saying? I mean, I damn safety sorry.
I said Barkley, the running back.
Oh man, they was stopping Barkley, man.
Huh?
them guys got tired. Barkley started going off when they start burning 25.
Bro,
when they start burning,
how you
boots,
stop a guy that got 106? Brother, what I'm saying is if you dedicate the two safeties all game, because Nick Sirianni literally said this to the reporter. They said whatever they decide to try to take away, we're going to go opposite. You try to take away Barkley early, they burnt 25. You try to take away the run game or the pass game later, they run down your throat with Saquon Barkley. That's what I'm saying. So if you dedicate more safeties and a lighter box, the Cowboys were one of the worst teams against the run, against light boxes this year, and heavy boxes, really, just in general. They would have just ran Saquon Barkley down your throat earlier and often. Is all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, Marv. You didn't really have a chance, I think, in this game for 4 quarters. Your best bet was try to get one of them damn turnovers early, and it didn't happen.
But I'm just saying, he was over there frustrated. He had about 15 carries for 15 yards at first?
No,
something like
Marv,
that?
No, he had 13 carries for 40 yards in like a quarter and a half of play. So, yeah, and then they just kept running the ball, as good running teams do, right? There's 4 quarters of football. There's not 1.5.
Let me tell y'all something. And I know you about to go to the draft. I don't care what nobody say. My first 3 picks is defense. I'm going 2 D tackles and a corner. They're my first 3 picks. I'm being honest with you.
Marv, ain't nobody in their right mind taking 2 defensive tackles.
I would take 2 defense because they got a lot of good D tackles. I ain't going for no fucking wide receiver. Because if you bring Fat Boy back, it's going to be the same thing. What they used to getting was wide receiver, and then Fat Boy can't coach, man.
Can I compromise with you, Mark? Can we sign a defensive tackle and draft one? How about that?
Yeah, I do that too.
Yeah, Mark. Ain't nobody trying to draft no damn 2 defensive tackles in the first. Go ahead.
I'm going D tackle, corner, and then maybe a halfback. That's it.
I mean, all those positions are positions of need. I mean, that you're going to need. Yeah,
that's what I'm going for. I'm not trying to, because like you say, don't we get another pick for beyond for the players?
We got a couple. We got a handful of comp picks, 5th rounders, 6th rounder type situation.
Okay, but we still won't have no 4th, will we? Did we get a 4th already?
No, we lost the 4th because we traded for Jonathan Mingo. So we're going to have to trade back into the 4th or trade a player or whatever, if you want to get to the 4th.
I think so. The Redskins made my friend text me from Washington. He could never beat his job. So he texted me and said, he was so happy. I said, good job, brother. He's this Redskins fan. I ain't heard from him in 10 years. And he texted me. You know what I'm saying? I said,
that's because they on the right trajectory right now. They got a lot to be excited about. Even though they're not going to probably go far in the playoffs, but they're on the up and up for a team that has not been good for 2 decades.
That quarterback gonna get hurt. That's how the ball.
Yeah, I'm worried about that too. He
about to get. So I'm telling you, if you're Redskin fans, that running, you be looking good. And now teams gonna start spying you, and somebody gonna hit you. Somebody like the Reds, like one of them safeties that know how to hit, might hit your knee.
It ain't gonna take much, bro. He's so thin that it's not gonna take. We saw it. I think it was against the Eagles, not the Eagles. Might have been the Eagles the first game. Somebody. He ran and took a routine hit, and his ribs was all jacked up for like a month of the season. So. Yeah, but I think he's good enough to transition into a solid pocket passer.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's going to have to do that unless you're – and he is a good runner, don't get me wrong. But unless you like Lamar. Lamar is just – I think he's a unicorn. He's one of those guys who – like Lamar is not – he's not as small as Jaden Daniels, but he's not Josh Allen, right? Where Josh Allen can absorb those big hits. He's 6'5", 240, whatever it is. He's a big dude. But Lamar is just a unicorn in that he can run around like that, and it doesn't affect him from a health standpoint. I think he's one-on-one.
Hey, can I give you an example of something? Yeah. What happened over here in Los Angeles?
What happened?
So last year, I the one that started that thing, Darwin scam. Remember the coach that used to coach for the Lakers?
Oh, yeah. Darwin Ham, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm named them on. You know, when I used to come on the shows, everybody shows, I named them Darwin Scam. So the whole country call them Darwin Scam now.
All right.
So we finally got rid of them. The whole LA went crazy. Then we got the young coach. The young coach got us in 4th or 5th place with a lot of injuries. Then we just made a trade for another wing.
D-Lo out of there, yeah.
We was happy. The whole LA is happy. But now we got another wing that can help Anthony Davis and LeBron.
So what you're saying is get one of these young bright guys up in here is what you're saying?
We need a young coach that created with that offense for Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott need to play like 2016. That when he building a center and faking the run with a good running back,
sure,
they call good running play. Yeah, that fat boy ain't gonna incorporate that. He gonna do. See, y'all is fight. That's why I call that fat boy, because he's gonna come back. If he come back, he gonna have Dak Prescott throwing 40 to 50 times again. Watch what I tell y'all. You're gonna have a halfback have about 70 yards in the first half and probably get one more run. He gonna do the same thing if you bring this fat. I want to cuss him. I do not want this guy coming back.
I hear you, Bar.
If we bring him back, we're in trouble. I'm telling you, bro. What you think?
You preach it to the choir. I'm not a fan of bringing McCarthy back. I'm just not. I don't think he's good enough coach to get you over the hump with what you have to deal with here. So I'm willing to take a swing with somebody else.
Me too. Yeah. If I was them, one of them offensive coordinators from Detroit, I'm just saying, if they do bring him back, if I'm Jerry Jones, say Jerry. If Chief Jerry Jones, I'll say, hey man, let's go get that black dude, the offensive coordinator, under the offensive coordinator of Detroit. He know the scheme. Let's get him and make him your offensive coordinator. And y'all scheme and let him call the players. You coach. You ain't calling plays no more. If you don't like it, go get the hell out of here then. If I'm Jerry Jones, no, man. We're going to get that Detroit offensive coordinator, one of them little pups. They're going to be offensive coordinator, and you call your plays. I mean, you be coaching. If that's the only way you bring him back.
Well, Mike,
I don't want this dude calling.
I don't think Mike would come back with the thought of I can't call my plays. I don't think it happened.
Well, get him out of here then.
Yeah,
Bye.
I agree.
We're not gonna win with him.
I agree.
Still.
Appreciate you, Mar.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. Salute. Yeah, a report came out, which I didn't think I needed to hear a report because I did think he did. I think he's done enough to the outside world that will allow him to get interviews from other teams. But the report came out. Let me see if I can pull it up if y'all want to listen to it. Boom. All right, let's see if I can pull this up. It's Jay Glazer report. Come on with it. Where I guess Glazer talked to people that said that Mike McCarthy, yep, here it is, has some suitors if he were to be a free agent or whatever. So here we go. Let me unmute this. Oh, it is unmuted. All right, here we go. Take a listen.
Actually, him and all the coaches, their contracts expire in 2 weeks. So Jerry Jones is going to sit down with them, obviously, probably the week after the season ends there. But if they decide not to do something with Mike McCarthy is actually on other teams' coaching lists if the Cowboys decide not to re-sign him. Mike McCarthy, actually,
Jay, we don't need you to say that. Yeah, so I kind of was not joking. I'm not going to say because I wasn't joking, but I was dead serious. I think Mike McCarthy makes a ton of sense for some of these other organizations. Like although the Raiders aren't going to do it, but like a Raider team, maybe New Orleans, maybe Chicago, one of these type teams. Hell, the Jets maybe even, right? They're looking for a coach, but a team that's looking for a grown-up to help build their program into a competitive program or what have you. Does that mean he's going to be a guy that's going to win a Super Bowl? Maybe not. I don't know. I don't think so here though. But I think he's done enough, right? I don't think from a overall standpoint for his personal resume, he can put his resume, go interview, go say, hey, look at this. Look what I've done without Dak. Look what I've done with. Look at all this type of stuff. It might say no Super Bowls, but neither have all these other organizations, right? So I think they would look to interview him, look at him as a legitimate candidate. I just don't think here. I don't think he can do it here given what he has to deal with. So I'm willing to look elsewhere and see if somebody else can get us over the hump. And I always keep hearing, well, who are you going to get that's better? I keep hearing Clarence say that. I'm like, a lot of coaches who are successful coaches had to start as a first-year coach. They had to. It's impossible to not. So I think that's a lazy thought process of, well, who are you going to get? I mean, well, there's a lot of other coaches that you can go out there and get. The problem is, will the Joneses go out there and hire those style of coaches, right? That's the issue. It's not that there aren't competent coaches out there. But yeah, so that's the report. And and I said this weeks ago when people were saying, oh, well, just bring him back and hire an OC. Well, if there are teams willing to bring in Mike McCarthy, I think he's gone. In that scenario, where if Jerry said, well, you can come back, but we want whoever to call offensive coordinator, we want them to call plays. I think Mike would say, no, thank you, I'm out of here. Chicago will let me call plays. New Orleans will let me call plays. The Jets will let me call plays. The Vegas Raiders will let me call plays. Mike does not want to give that up. They asked Mike earlier in the season, well, have you ever talked to Shoddy about letting him call plays? And he said, not even a thought. Next question. And in closing on that thought, like I said, if he does return and he is forced to have an offensive coordinator, I don't know how that is looked at as a positive. I don't think he's a legitimate walk-around head coach. And it just goes to show you that your owner, general manager continues to meddle in the football things here with this organization. Jacksonville's another one, yeah. An organization with much lower expectations. Oh man, I think McCarthy can go there and be a guy that can, hey man, we've been competitive. We're fighting for the playoffs. We winning, 9-10 games, and they'll be fine with that. That's not it shouldn't be our standard here, but there are a lot of fans who the standards has lowered. We got to be more patient. Shit. All right, let's get to a couple super chats here. Toxic said, if I'm Mike, would I want to be back? If I ain't got no other option and I'm getting that $5 million paycheck, sure. But if I got other options, I'm definitely exploring my options. I'll say that. Shouts out to my guy, Matt came through. Hey, yo, Matt, I didn't know you turned up like that, bro. Shouts out to my
Super
guy.
chat.
Matt Lennox came through yesterday at Canvas Sports and Social, man. He turned up. It was good stuff. He said, it was good seeing you. He said, good show. It was good seeing you and Jesse yesterday. Canvas is definitely a dope spot. Excellent food. Good food, bro. When I say good food, good vibes, good energy, I'm serious. Now, you dipped right when the party started to happen at the end of I think you might have been there at the end of the game. But, yeah, they turned up. They had the DJ there, and they did their thing. But appreciate you coming through, man, and support. Our guy, Glenn.
Super chat.
He dropped 5 and said, McCarthy calls plays hoping that a call will work. He gains no information from any formation / packages. Each play call is a roll of the dice. Yeah, I have this running joke of, McCarthy is not Slick Rick. He's not a storyteller. The buzzword I used for years under Kellen Moore, and the same thing with Coach McCarthy, in my opinion, is dribbling with a purpose. Right? Like, I watch so many schemes, and you see that it's baked in their DNA that, hey, I'm doing this to set up this, or we want this look a certain way so that out of this same look, it's a totally different play and we can catch you. I don't necessarily think that's him. Hey, my run game is married to the pass is married to the run. I don't think that's him. I think it's very much so a generic West Coast offensive principles. And the game has went past the generic West Coast offensive principles. And sure, if you got a Dak Prescott and a Aaron Rodgers, these guys can do some things in it, right? But eventually the game evolves, and teams will catch on to these type of things. Can you adapt? I think that's it right there. Los said, C-Los, that is. That 3rd and 1 and they throw a bomb after Rico was burning them was enough for me to see that Mike is clueless. When they did that, I mean, I don't have a problem with 3rd and 1 shots. I don't. I thought they were going to go for it, though. But when they did that, I mean, again, this is why I say I think he hates Jake Ferguson, and he definitely does not come. It's one read. The things they say about Dak is really about Coop. The people that hate Dak say, oh, he doesn't go through progressions, he doesn't read defenses. No, I promise y'all, Cooper Rush doesn't read defenses, y'all. It's not even one read. I'm determining this is what's happening 99% of the time before the snap. And if that ain't there, check down. And a lot of the times it's by hook or crook, it's going there. I don't give what happens. Cooper Rush is the inverse. He plays YOLO ball, but he plays YOLO ball like at sticks. Cooper Rush play YOLO ball at the sticks. You hear YOLO, you think, hey, drop back, just throw that thing. And he sometimes does that. Cooper Rush is like, we only live once. It's going here. I don't care. It's going here. Promise y'all, man. I promise y'all. But on that Jonathan Domingo gang throw, Jake Ferguson breaks wide open in the middle of the field, which I was shocked because that's the middle of the field. Cooper Rush is right in front of you. It's not a risky throw. Wide open. Bow. But he says through hook or crook, bro, we going to Mingo, which, okay, bet he burnt him. But he throws a duck. That's not your strength. Sometimes he get a chance. He be getting to feel himself, man. Coop think he can, play your game, brother. Play your game. Play your game. If he'd have played this game on that one, I mean, he got Jake Ferg wide open. All right, good stuff today. Appreciate y'all coming through. I know these are, tough. These ones are tough to deal with, especially after getting whooped on like that yesterday for a lot of fans. I get it. But we're almost done, right? We got one more game. Cowboys. They did. There was a TBD, right? To be decided with the time. We got the time. It's a noon game. Cowboys will host the Washington Football People at noon on Sunday. And then we start our review of the season and we start turning the page to the offseason fairly quickly. But I think before we really do that, we'll have to see what happens with the coaching situation. If they do decide to move on, my fear is they wait this out. And you can't do that because these coaches are starting to get interviews right away, right? I don't give a damn if they're in playoffs. They're getting interviews. So I think you got to legitimately have a thorough coaching search and not what they've done over the last 2 or 3 hires. It was not thorough. Marvin Lewis, Mike McCarthy. What are we doing? You didn't even have a damn coaching search in 2000 and was it 10, 11? Didn't have one in 2011. The coaching search for 2011 was done in 2007. Jason Garrett was a guy. And in 2007, Wade Phillips. Hi. Like, they have to have a real coaching search, man. So we'll see if that happens. If they do, we'll break that all down. With that said, I'm going to press this button. Get up out of here.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
And rap to y'all later. Yo, the Giants winning. I was talking to Jesse about this. It's worse than I thought. I thought they went down one slot. They are now at number 3. There's a chance that the Giants winning that game yesterday could have cost them one of the top 2 quarterbacks, depending on what the teams above them do. But boy, you get rid of Saquon. He rushed for 2K, and you may be playing your way out of your quarterback. Hilarious, man. We out of here. Lay y'all. Peace.